What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing a beer from the Allagash Brewing Company, and they're out of Portland, Maine, and this is their Haunted House, and this is the 2022 release. So they're calling this one a Hoppy Dark Ale that comes in at 6.66% alcohol by volume, 65 IBUs at the time of review. This can is just under 2 months old. So I've been eyeing this one for the last couple of years and finally pulled the trigger on it because it sounds like it might be interesting. I don't know if this is going to be like a black IPA or just a hop forward porter or stout. They just say Hoppy Dark Ale. Now on the back, I have a little spiel here, and it says, cursed by our love of roasty porters, we summon the recipe for Haunted House. Roasted barley and Blackprinz malt cloak this ale in a gravely dark hue. Hopped with Crystal, Nugget, Cascade, and Northern Brewer, its flavor is filled with hauntingly balanced notes of generic, just as coffee, malt, and a devilish hint of hops. So this recipe must have changed, and that's because on their website, they say this one's brewed with Crystal, Chinook, and Saaz. Then on Tapped, it says it's Tettnang, Chinook, and Saaz. And then on the back here, completely different. It's Crystal, Nugget, Cascade, and Northern Brewer. So it must have went through numerous recipe changes, but whatever. We'll listen to the can. I think that's going to be correct. And it seems like this is a hoppy porter based on what they said. They like roasty porter. So why not just call it a hoppy porter? I don't know. Hoppy Dark Ale, just, I don't know, whatever. So I should kick my own ass for not reviewing enough Allagash. I've only reviewed their Allagash White, which is, a classic, American beer at this point, and their MAP 40, which is cold brew coffee Belgian stout. It's been a couple years since I reviewed anything from them. I need to review more from them. This guy's an idiot. Anyway, so yeah, that has we'll just say Hoppy Dark Ale, because up here on camera, I say this, how many times? Fucking 3 times a week on camera, it's gonna look darker than it is in person. It's gonna have probably a pitch black kind of look to it. In person, it does look pitch black up here. When I was pouring it, looked kind of black. At the bottom here, there's a mahogany ruby red kind of just tinge to the bottom. You can, I hold it up to light, yeah, it's down about right here is where it stops being pretty much like a dark brown, but it looked pitch black when I was pouring it. Anyway, about a finger of a tan colored head, somewhat creamy looking. Yeah, it looks nice. So let's get a nose. That doesn't smell crazy hoppy or anything. Wow, that smells really nice. Coffee, yes. Roasted malt, yes. Bittering chocolate, definitely. Has almost mocha vibes to it. If you ever have a mocha coffee or something, usually it's sweet, right? Like those drinks, if you have mocha, whatever, usually they're sweeter, but you can get mocha just, with regular coffee and some kind of chocolate in there that's not super sweet. But this is like a mocha coffee drink, but it's not sweet. That's what the nose is. There's an earthiness here. Maybe a little of a resinous hop tone, like a slight earthy pine thing going on. Maybe a hint of cherry, like a black cherry. Caramel. Yeah, caramel is definitely there. Caramel, maybe a little bit of molasses. This smells, if I was doing this blind and I didn't know it was Allagash's Haunted House and I was just, someone said this as a whodunit / mystery beer, I would think this is a really roasty porter. But fresh, because the hops are there, but they're not predominant. Anyway, it smells really good. Let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Allagash, I apologize. Really nice. This reminds me of some old school American porters, but maybe a little bit more to the hoppy side of things. Body in this at almost 7% or just over 6.5%. It's a little bit thin. This is lower side of medium body. I like to see it medium, maybe a touch over. A bit thin on the body. It has a slight watery sensation. The mouthfeel, however, while it has carbonation, and you know it has a moderate carbonation, really smooth and creamy on the back of the palate. So body, a little disappointing. Mouthfeel, really nice. So it kind of balances out. Body, mouthfeel, they're fine. The taste, again, if I was doing this blind, I would 100% think this is a roasty porter or a stout. And I think the body would let me The body would probably give me indication that this is more of a porter. The history of porters versus stouts, you can get in debate. You can look. There's a bunch, people will say so many different things based on history, but I don't think anyone really knows like the difference between porter and stout. They're very akin. I've heard so many different things like porters don't have roasted malts, or people think one thing and it's another. At the end of the day, for me, how I kind of pick apart porters and stouts, and this could be 100% correct because that's this channel in a nutshell. I feel like porters always have a thinner body to me. And that's why I would say this is a porter, because it has a thinness. Look at the lacing. Has some chill haze. It was right out of my dark beer fridge, but it is a little warmer today. So, you know, a little bit of the condensation. I shouldn't say chill haze, condensation. Why the fucking chill? Drinking that. Yeah, but right at the forefront, roasted malt. There's bittering chocolate, a little bit of caramel, and blackstrap molasses, we'll say. Blackstrap molasses. That's all at the forefront. Passes through, coffee hits. It's like, a lot of times I'll get, I don't want you to say confused, but like it's hard to differentiate between, say, coffee roast and like the roastiness from the beer. And this time it's like substantial. Like I get that roasted malt front, and then right after that, you know, the caramel and the chocolate and the molasses and stuff, there is a coffee note, and it's kind of like a roasted coffee. It blends in with the chocolate to, you know, give me those mocha characters, and it's a little bit sweeter than it was in the nose because that malt sweetness is kind of there. So it's a little bit of a nice sweet mocha vibe. Not too much, but it's there. Middle of the palate, the hops hit, but here's what the hops are doing. The hops aren't providing like a substantial flavor note, but more of just a nice, like almost moderate bitterness to break this one up. It's more of like an earthy floral-esque type of hop note. Finish is semi-dry. Again, like a almost moderate bitterness. Very well balanced. So this is like, to me, an American porter with a little bit more of like a hop forward kind of note. It's like you took like Emmett Fitzgerald, maybe made it a little bit hop forward, or, you know, like a black butte or smutty nose robust porter. Something like that, Founders Porter. Although I've always found Founders Porter had this nice brownie batter, a little bit sweeter than most. But anyway, this is really nice. Is it amazing? No. Is it a beer that I would like recommend you go and grab? Well, if you like old school American porters, or you like a little bit hop forward porters in general, yeah, I think this is one you should grab. Really. Really nice. Really solid. It's nothing that I would, you know, go crazy over, but for, you know, the fall season, you know, there's almost like, it's almost like a fall kind of feeling to it. Like that earthiness or whatever is like crisp fall leaves, you know, like just like the aroma of like when you step outside and there's leaves on the ground, kind of like that feeling. It's really nice. This is a beer that I think you need to enjoy old school porters or even stouts and have an appreciation for maybe slightly hop forward ones. I do think the body being a little thin is a detriment, but I do think the mouthfeel makes up for it for being smooth and creamy. One more sip, we'll rate it. Yeah, it's solid. It's real solid. This is a very solid, good Hoppy Dark Ale. Again, if I was doing this blind, I would just say this is a slightly hop forward porter. I would guess this is like 5.86% if I was doing it blind because of the thin body. 6.6. Hides the alcohol well. A little bit of a warming in the chest, but not much. Nothing on the palate. So Haunted House from Allagash. I have no problem giving this beer right here a low 4 out of 5. We'll go 3.9. I think that's a fair score for what I'm drinking. I'm glad I finally picked it up. Price point availability, I believe I paid like $3 something for a can of that, and I think 4-packs are like 13 or 14 bucks. So slightly pricey, but you know, for like $3 to $3.50 for a can, I don't think it's too bad. And availability, wherever you see Allagash, I think this is like their fall seasonal. Usually you start seeing these on the shelves in like August. I picked it up earlier this month, and yeah, still relatively fresh, under 2 months old. Still has nice flavor. So if you've had this one before, post in the comment section. Let me know what you think about it. If you had a prior vintage, here's a question. If anybody out there, and I'll kind of know if you watch to the end, if you've had this one before and you had a prior vintage and you tried this year's, was there anything noticeable between the hop character? Because the hop character, based on what I'm reading on the back here, substantially different than what was listed on their website and on tap. So I feel like they've went through recipe changes as far as the hops go in different years. I haven't had a prior vintage, so I have no idea. So I'd be curious if anybody out there has had numerous vintages of this, and if you could tell any difference. So anyway, appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.